Welcome to aminacademy.com. In History of Muslim World, let us discuss about history of Jesus. In Islam, Jesus, Isa ibn Maryam, is a prophet and the Messiah who is revered as a messenger of God and a guide to a spiritual truth. Jesus was born to a virgin, Mary, and spoke as an infant in the cradle, declaring himself to be a prophet of God in childhood itself. Jesus performed miracles including healing the blind, raising the dead, and breathing life into a clay bird. Jesus did not lie on the cross or resurrect, but was miraculously saved by God and ascended into heaven. Jesus will return to earth before the day of judgment to kill the Al-Masih al-Dajjal or the false Messiah. The Umayyad Mosque in Damascus is considered by Muslims to be the place where Jesus will return and as one of the four holiest sites in Islam. The Quran describes Jesus as the Messiah, but it also denies his divinity and status as the Son of God. Muslims believe that Jesus is a part of the shared heritage of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, which are known in the Quran as the Ahlul Kitab or people of the book. The miracle of childbirth is and himself a miracle that leaves humanity as every single day a child is born to new mother and father. So it is no wonder that a birth of Jesus, who was born without a father, is a miracle that has encapsulated the hearts and minds of billions of people around the world, whether they be Muslim or Christian. Jesus is considered one of the five greatest prophets of Islam and is mentioned precisely 25 times in the Quran. The Islamic depiction of Jesus' birth occurs primarily in chapter 3 Al Imran and chapter 19 Maryam of the Quran. When we look at the Islamic doctrine depicting the birth of Jesus or Isa, we realize that it is very similar to the Christian scriptures. The story begins when Mary is approached by the angel Gabriel within her sacred quarters in Bait al-Muqaddis, Jerusalem. Naturally, being a woman who had lived a life of solitude and worship, she was left quite frightened and startled by this encounter. And she took in seclusion from them a screen. When then we sent to our angel, and he represented himself to her as a well proportionate man. She said, "Indeed, I seek refuge in the most merciful from you, so leave me, if you should be fearing of God." Quran 19:17 and 18. In Islam, Jesus, that is Isa ibn Maryam, is prophet and a Messiah who is believed to have been born to a Virgin Mary, performed miracles, been accompanied by disciples, been rejected by the Jewish religious establishment, been miraculously saved by God and ascended into heaven, not been crucified, died on the cross, he resurrected, returned to earth before the day of judgment to restore justice, defeated Al-Masih ad-Dajjal or false Messiah. Muslims believe that Jesus came from the long line of prophets, including Jacob, David, and Solomon. They also believe that Jesus was uniquely protected from Satan at birth because of his mother's prayer. Muslims believe that Jesus will return to earth in the second coming, and that the Umayyad Mosque in Damascus is the place where he is believed to return. This mosque is the highly esteemed by Muslims as the fourth holiest site of Islam. Jesus is part of the shared heritage that binds the monotheist faiths of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. In the Quran, these faiths are known as the Ahl al-Kitab, or people of the book. The Quran's account of Jesus' birth is told in chapters 19 and 3 of the Quran and includes the following details. The birth of Mary. The Quran describes Mary's birth and her service in the Jerusalem temple under the care of the prophet Zechariah. The Annunciation. The Quran mentioned the Annunciation to Mary twice, with the Archangel Gabriel delivering a new news in the form of a man. Birth of Jesus. Quran describes how Mary was told to shake a palm tree during labor so that ripe dates would fall off. This combined with the ripening period of dates suggests that Jesus was born between June and October. Actually, this time is normally not a time of ripening dates, but it's miraculous it's happened. Jesus' birthday. The Quran quotes Jesus saying, "Peace be upon me the day I was born." Muslims believe that Jesus was born in Bethlehem, about 5 miles from the Jerusalem, around 600 years before the Prophet Muhammad. They also believe that Jesus was a prophet of God and the Messiah, but that he was neither God nor the Son of God. Now let us do some about miracles of Prophet Jesus in Islam. Let us read. According to Islam, Jesus performed many miracles, including speaking from the cradle, mentioned in Quran in 346 and 51092, 1110 and 1929-30. In the story, Jesus defends his mother Mary from accusation of having a child without a known father. Creating birds from the clay. Mentioned in the Quran, these verses, this miracle is also found in the infancy gospel of Thomas and Jewish Toledot Yeshu. Healing the blind and lepers, mentioned in the Quran 349. Raising people from the dead, mentioned in Al-Imran 349. Muslims believe that Jesus' miracles were a sign of Allah's respect and dignity for him. The Quran mentions Jesus 25 times, often referring to him as Isa ibn Maryam, which means Jesus, son of Mary. The Quran also gives Jesus the title of Al-Masih, which means anointed one. Muslims consider Jesus one of the 5 great prophets, along with Noah, Abraham, Moses, and Muhammad. Here, the Umayyad Mosque in Damascus is the mosque where Muslims believe Jesus or Isa Messiah will return. The Umayyad Mosque is one of the oldest and largest mosques in the world. It is considered the 4th holiest site in Islam. The mosque is located in the old city of Damascus, the capital of Syria. According to Islamic belief, Jesus will descend at a white minaret on the eastern side of Damascus, which is believed to be the minaret of Isa in the Umayyad Mosque. He will be wearing saffron-colored garments and will have his hands placed on the wings of 2 angels. Some other beliefs about Jesus in Islam include Jesus will kill the Dajjal, the false prophet. Everyone who is a member of the people of the book, Jews, Sabians, and Christians, will believe in him. After the death of Al-Mahdi, Jesus will assume leadership. Jesus will marry, have children, and rule for 40 years before he dies. Prophet Isa alayhi salam in the Quran is the son of Lady Mary who was born miraculously without a father. Allah sent him to invite the people of Israel to worship Allah, only Allah, without a partner and believe in the oneness. Allah gifted him with several miracles such as talking in the cradle, curing the blind and leper, and bringing life to the dead. Jews planned to kill the Prophet Isa, but Allah saved and raised him to heaven. In the end days before the judgment day, Prophet Isa will come again and rule people with justice. So far we discussed about short story about Prophet Isa. We have done. Please subscribe our YouTube channel.